What's up, guys? So I am here playing the new Samurai Shodown demo. This just released today. It's only on the Asian PSN store, so you're gonna have to look up a guide on how to create an Asian PSN account if you want to try this demo out. There are only offline modes in this demo, just training mode, tutorial, and local versus. And there's only 3 characters, but still, we're gonna use this as an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about the game, discuss why I'm excited for it, and some of the basic systems of the game in case you guys are new to Samurai Shodown and don't really know much about it. So go ahead and jump in and start talking about kind of the systems of the game here. Alrighty, so Samurai Shodown is a 4-button fighting game, meaning there's the light slash, medium slash, heavy slash, and a kick button. So the slash strength kind of determines the damage, but heavy slashes are like a pretty big deal in this game because if you look at her health bar, you can just see these do an insane amount of damage. So a lot of the game is kind of revolving around, you know, finding perfect opportunities to hit your heavy slashes and preventing the opponent from doing the same to you. So as you can see, the movement is like very, very slow. The walk speed is absolutely minuscule. It feels very slow and deliberate, and as you can see too, a lot of moves are very slow with long recovery. But there is running in this game, and running tends to be very fast, and you can have running attacks that you can only do out of running, and those tend to be pretty powerful. Some characters even have high-low mix-ups out of their running attacks, but do take note, when the opponent guards, you can see you go into this big reel back animation. That applies to a lot of the sword attacks in this game, and you will be generally pretty punishable. If you're in kind of this reel back animation and the opponent presses a lot of buttons, you can get punished. So I would imagine you're thinking to yourself, you know, I've got all these slow, high commitment attacks, you know, why would I ever go on the offense if the opponent can just block and punish like half my attacks? And the reason for that is there's something called recoil canceling, and that is a pretty cool technique where basically you can cancel this recoil animation into a special attack and punish the opponent for trying to get their punish in. So I would say more than basically any other fighting game I've played, this game is very much about reading your opponent, learning sort of their tendencies and habits, so you know, like, when are they going to try to press a button, when are they going to just let you keep your offense, because if they're willing to just block all day and never go for punishes, you can really abuse them. There's throws in this game, but throws are pretty interesting. As you can see, they don't damage the opponent, but instead you can attack the opponent during the recovery animation from the throw. So you can see I can kind of get a free attack on him there. So you can usually go into pretty decent damage off a throw, so it's a very dangerous option that the opponent always has to look out for. There's also the unexpected attack, I believe this is called. This is like an overhead. Every character has this. It's medium slash plus heavy slash. By the way, throw is heavy slash plus kick, in case you were curious. So these are some pretty good options to open up the opponent's guard. But generally, this is going to be a pretty defensive game because attacks are so high commitment, because you're kind of really taking a lot of risk if you throw out your big damaging buttons. This is a defensive game, but with certain characters especially, combining stuff like run attacks, recoil canceling, and stuff like that, you can apply a ton of pressure. So I guess we'll talk a little bit about the characters here. Right now I'm playing Genjuro. He's one of the 3 characters inside the tutorial. He's a pretty solid, balanced character, I would say. As you can see, his heavy slash is absolutely massive. It's a big part of his gameplay. He also has a fireball with quarter circle back plus slash, and he can even hold the fireball down, and then if the opponent blocks it, you can see it bounces off them, so you can use that as an opportunity to set up pressure. Pretty fun thing about the character. He's got rekkas. You can see quarter circle forward plus slash, he does 1, and then you can chain it to do up to 3, and different versions have different effects. For example, his medium and heavy rekkas can cross up. You can catch the opponent off guard with those and combo off it. So this is going to be pretty hard for people to deal with if they don't know the matchup. Or you can do stuff like do 1 hit of the rekka, and then, you know, if they block it, go in for throw or something like that. You can really keep the opponent guessing what you're going to do with all these different versions of Rekka. So it's pretty cool. He's got pretty powerful offense, but with his fireball and his huge range and stuff like that, he's got decent defense as well. He also has an invincible Dragon Punch, which is very valuable in this game. As you could see, that was something that I was using kind of to make myself safe. When I do the recoil cancel, you can recoil cancel into Dragon Punch to try to take your turn back. Obviously, very, very risky to do this. They could just block the Dragon Punch and then basically kill you. But like I mentioned, this game is kind of about making hard reads, understand the opponent's tendencies, and know when you need to just sort of let them take their turn back versus when you need to go ham and go with something crazy. You can also, you know, obviously recoil cancel into Rekka. That can be very tricky for the opponent to deal with. If they're willing to just block all day, they don't feel like taking their turn back, canceling into the different Rekkas is a good way to apply pressure, and you can do the kind of mix-ups I talked about earlier. He also has some pretty good lows. His running B attack, that is his running medium slash, is actually a low. So mixing the opponent up between stuff like unexpected attack, overhead, the throw, his cross up, stuff like that combined with his running attack lows can be pretty nice. So overall, I think he seems like a pretty good beginner character. He's one that I'm planning on trying pretty early on once the game actually comes out. We could talk a little bit about the meter system in this game. I haven't talked about that too much yet. So you have what's called a rage gauge here in the lower left. So the rage gauge, once that gets full like this, you're really going to do a lot of increased damage. This powers up all your attacks, makes you pretty scary for the opponent to deal with. But this also opens up some super options for you. So the most basic super is called the weapon flipping technique, but I think most people will just call it super. It's quarter circle forward plus medium slash and heavy slash. So this move can be special canceled into, which is pretty nice. It makes it fairly easy to land, and you can see it does a ton of damage, and it actually disarms your opponent, so they're going to have to come over here and pick their weapon back up. And until they do that, they're stuck with unarmed attacks, which are generally pretty weak. So the weapon flipping attack, aka just your regular super, is a pretty powerful technique and pretty easy to land. You've also got the super special move, which is a even more powerful special move. You do that with forward, quarter circle forward, medium slash plus heavy slash, and that does a lot more damage. But you cannot special cancel into this. No matter how hard you try, you're not going to make it happen. So this is really only useful for punishes or hard reads, that kind of thing. And then the third type of special you have access to is, it's called Rage Explosion. You press all three buttons, you activate Rage Explosion. You can see I have a little timer going. You do a lot more damage in Rage Explosion, but then once it runs out, your Rage Gauge is actually gone for the rest of the match. So you really only want to use this when you are, you know, either close to losing or close to winning, and you just need that last little bit to finish off the round. But while you're in Rage Explosion, not only do you do greatly increased damage, you can also do Lightning Blade, which is the third type of super, and this is the most damaging type of all, I believe. And they go really fast. They go kind of full screen here. So this is a pretty big threat that the opponent has to worry for whenever you activate Rage Explosion. So pretty cool stuff there. As you can see, this is just an insanely high damage game. High risk, high reward. All about understanding the opponent's habits, capitalizing on their mistakes. Spacing and footsies are extremely important. Even though walk speed is slow, it's extremely important to look out for these huge whiffs. As you can see, a lot of normals have massive whiff animations, so they become very punishable. So watching out for those is important. Jumping is powerful because it moves you forward a lot more quickly than walking, but anti-airs are very powerful in this game as well. You can see it. I have an invincible Dragon Punch that is extremely damaging, so you do not want to jump in at Genjuro when he's ready to anti-air you. So we'll try some of the other characters here, and I can explain some of the differences. So let's check those guys out. Alright, next up we're looking at Charlotte. Charlotte is like a French fencer type character. So you can see she doesn't have nearly as much range as someone like Genjuro, but she does have some pretty good range attacks here. Quarter circle back and slash, she does this sort of long range poke thing, and the higher strength versions have longer range, but they are slower and more punishable. She has a pretty strong fireball, quarter circle forward plus slash. She does this sort of triangle fireball, and you can even hold it down. So this is pretty good for if the opponent wants to jump over it, hold it down and let it go late so that they land right on the fireball. So that's pretty sick. She's got a mashing special, kind of like, you know, Chun-Li's lightning legs or something like that. And this thing just moves you forward so much, and it's a ton of hits. And even if the opponent blocks it, they are going to take a ton of chip damage. And this is not like Dragon Ball, where you can't die from chip. You can very much die from chip in this game. So it's a pretty big threat, and you have to watch out for that a lot. She has a DP, which, in case you're noticing a trend, a lot of characters have Dragon Punches in this game, so that's something that you want to watch out for. Pretty good combo tool. Even after like a throw or something, she can do a lot of damage by comboing into this DP. And again, like I talked about earlier, with recoil canceling, you know, if the opponent is trying to take their turn after blocking an attack or something, you can make yourself safe with the fireball. Go for that hard read and prevent them from taking their turn back. So that's pretty important as well. And then her final special move here, quarter circle forward kick. It is a low, which is pretty nice. And you just get a little bit of damage and kind of throw them away. So pretty good for if the opponent is conditioned to block high, you know, in case they're afraid of unexpected slash or whatever this is called. This command overhead that every character has that I talked about. You can catch them with the low from pretty far away, so that's a nice move as well. Her running attacks are actually really nice. You can see her running B here. This move is unsafe. If they block it, they can hit you, but obviously you can prevent that with a recoil cancel if you really want to. But from certain ranges, this move is just really safe and hard to punish, and then you can recoil cancel into something like Fireball, or like this kind of pokey attack here, and use that to keep applying pressure. So pretty great spacing tool. She's definitely good from range. Like you can see, even though these attacks aren't as long range as some others, like they leave you at such a nice position to continue pressuring from pretty far away, so I like that. Her heavy slash is pretty interesting. It's this sort of triangle shaped thing. It does multiple hits, and like most heavy slashes, it does a ton of damage. Her down heavy slash as well. Lots of damage and 2 hits. So she's a pretty interesting character. She has some of the faster walk speed in the game, so she's pretty good at whiff punishing. And once you sort of train the opponent, you can use her amazing dashing normals and her long range pokes to really keep them in check. So pretty scary character at multiple ranges, and I think a fun character for people who kind of want a ground-based, well-rounded character who can pressure the opponent or sort of stand back and go for whiff punishes and stuff like that. So she's pretty cool. Let's take a look at her supers just so I can show you guys what those look like. This is her disarming super. Makes the opponent drop their weapon. As you can see, it is like a 6-pointed star. So this is her super special move. As you can see, so slow to come out. These are very hard to land, like I mentioned. But wow. Are you seeing this damage right now? Good lord! It's like 70-80%. So yeah, these do an absolute insane amount of damage, but they are going to be really hard to land in a match. And then finally, we'll do her Rage Explosion and go into her Lightning Blade. Yeah, pretty sick damage. And again, this is going to go like all the way full screen. So the enemy really has to watch out for this or they are going to get got. So yeah, pretty sick. So yeah, Charlotte is a character I don't really know that much about, but she seems pretty cool. And then finally, we'll go talk about this other guy here, Ukyo. Alright, so our final character here, Ukyo, he's pretty interesting. As you can see, his range is not like that good either. I would say he's got the worst range out of the 3 of these, but he makes up with that with his crazy close range ability and his mix-up. First of all, he's got his standing medium slash. This is a pretty incredible button. This is one of the few far normals, at least in this demo so far, that can be special canceled. Usually only the close versions of normals are able to be special canceled, at least for most of the characters I've tried so far. But with his far medium slash, he can special cancel this and go for combos. And an interesting mechanic in this game is any move that can be special canceled, you can also special cancel on whiff. So you're seeing how I'm going immediately into special moves, even though the attack whiffed. So that's pretty nuts and pretty good for stopping the opponent for going from whiff punishes and stuff like that. So up close, he's pretty awesome. He's got this attack here. If you do the light version, it's 1 slash. This is his quarter circle forward attack. Medium version is 2, and heavy version is 3. So this is useful for combos, as well as sort of keeping the opponent on their toes if they're blocking. They don't know how many of these you're going to do, so you can just do 1 and then go into throw or something like that. That was his heavy slash. You can see it's 2 hits and a ton of damage, but this is going to be pretty hard to land, I think, because the range is nothing special. But his down heavy slash is a very long range move. It doesn't actually hit low, but it's a really, really long range move with a lot of damage. But this does not cause recoil, so you cannot recoil cancel it. You are going to be pretty punishable if it's blocked, but it's a nice move. And it's similar to his running heavy slash. Like, look at the damage on this and the range. Pretty nutso move. His running medium slash is actually a cross up, which is cool. So this is kind of what I'm talking about with, like, his mix up ability is pretty strong. You can see you can just run through them and hit them on the other side, which is going to be hard to block for a lot of people. Can't combo off it, but it does knock down, which is nice. But I would say the real core of his mix up comes from this special move that he can do in the air. This is a half circle forward in the air. But what makes it really powerful is you can tiger knee it, meaning you end the special move input in up forward, and you can do it immediately off the ground. And this is going to hit overhead. Insanely hard to block. Pretty much you can't react to this. You just have to know. But to kind of make up for the power of this attack, he doesn't actually have that many lows. I'm pretty sure his only lows are kicks. Like, this move doesn't hit low, that doesn't hit low, that doesn't hit low. But he does have a down forward kick. This is a very, very fast sweep with decent range that is safe on block. So this is going to be a powerful pressure tool when combined with this instant overhead to really catch the opponent out for blocking down. And then obviously, you know, he's got the same throw that everyone else has that you can combo off of. So that's pretty nice too. So he seems like a very scary character to block. His mix-up is actually wild. You do not want to let this character get in on you. You can see though his jump is so floaty. It's crazy. And his air normals, other than this special move, are not particularly amazing. This move's really good, obviously, but he definitely seems like more of a ground-oriented character. He has one interesting special move here. You can see he throws out the apple, and then he slashes it. But if you do this with kick, he just throws the apple, so it seems like you can kind of bait the opponent, trick them into blocking, because when they see the apple, they think a special move's coming, and then punish them. So he seems pretty sick. Let's take a look at his supers here. So this is his regular super that's going to disarm the opponent. Pretty self-explanatory. This is his sort of powered up super, the ones that are really hard to land because they can't be canceled into, but extremely damaging. Most of these tend to be. Oh wow, this is pretty sick. Pretty sick animation. And the damage! Oh, that will never stop surprising me how damaging that is. Good lord. And then we will do Rage Explosion and his Lightning Blade. You know, these were all pretty similar, but they look really cool. So, yeah, that's it for Ukyo, and I think that's going to be it for the game as well. This game comes out on Tuesday, like 4 days from the day I'm uploading this video. So I'm really looking forward to it. You best believe I'm going to be streaming it, uploading match videos, maybe some tutorials, all that kind of stuff. So let me know down in the comments if you're interested in this game, and if there's any certain type of content that you're wanting to see for this game, whether it's tutorials, matches, like story mode playthrough, whatever. Just let me know. I'm interested in what you guys have to say. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.